Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skibowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. You know, it's holidays are here.
They're here. They're here.
And you know, things slow down in the real estate world.
Yeah, we call it seasonality, right?
Seasonality.
That's the technical term.
Yeah.
Seasonality. It tends to slow down November, December. You know, you and I have talked about it over and over again. It's every year we see it. I mean, I've been doing almost 20 years. You know, you see the curve, it starts to fall off as far as activity goes.
Yeah.
October-ish, November, people are thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know, they're thinking about Christmas, all of this stuff coming up, the new year. And then we start into January and things start to pick up as far as showings go again. Mid to late January, February, it's just a sine curve. It starts to rise. Peaks in the middle of the summer, you know, July, and then starts to taper off from there.
Right.
So it's a repeatable model. I think if you looked every year, there's going to be glitches. 21 and 22, 20 and 21 were obviously glitches in the COVID years. But, you know, we see it. And from an agent standpoint, if I'm not showing, I'm getting ready for something, working on marketing. You know, you still have listings you're trying to market, which, you know, keeping sellers calm down. Why isn't my house selling? Well, it's seasonality.
Yeah.
Right? There's just not as much activity going on. So we have all those discussions as it goes. But home prices are, you know, on everybody's top of mind. What are we pricing right? You know, how do we compare to what the market looks like? You've got the naysayers, the world's going to end, prices are going to crash. We're going to see the crash of 08, 09 repeat itself, which is a once-in-a-lifetime event,
yeah, right. Yeah.
But we're going to have it in another, you know, 14, 15 years. It does.
So people are still saying that.
They're still, I've had a couple of buyers where, well, I'm not going to buy because I'm going to wait for prices to drop. Well, guess what? They're not dropping.
Yeah, they're
not. Prices, you know, now you may say, well, Mark, there's price reductions. You're seeing more and more price reductions. Yes, we are. And part of that is sellers are still trying to take advantage of the last 2 years, which why wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, your goal is to get the most out of your house that you can. Yeah, great.
On the sales side, you know, as a listing, that's what you want to do is get the most, but ultimately you want to sell. So the fact is you may price a little bit higher and need to reduce prices, but overall, nationally, the statistics show that home prices appreciated this year 3%, 2.8%, almost back to a more normal year.
Okay.
We used to 3 to 5, sometimes it was, 4 to 6% price appreciation year over year we would see. Well, in 23, on average, this is through the end of October, they don't have November done yet, nationally it's 2.8%. And every governing body has got different statistics, so that is an average of those governing bodies, which is Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Brokers Association, and NAR. So the predictions, the numbers that they use are vastly different. But Fannie Mae said there's 6.7% price appreciation. Well, that's the loans that they do.
Okay.
Right? Fannie Mae, that's what they do. Mortgage Bankers or Mortgage Brokers Association, 1.5%. NAR, 0.1%, because NAR is looking at the whole picture. So NAR is saying prices didn't go up that much. But if you average all of those out, it's 2.8%. So what's the prediction for 24?
Good question.
Well, they're going to go up, but at a lower level. They're predicting about 1.5%. Again, if you average all of these things, 1.5%. So if a house would sell this year at $250,000, it's going to go up to 1.5% by the end of 24. Now, those are predictions. Right? So they're using current information, current market conditions, and they're predicting what's going to happen into the future. So predictions, everybody's got one.
Yeah, everybody wants to be Nostradamus, but
absolutely, and he's right once every century.
You're right.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So the fact is that all of the folks that are saying, "Oh, prices are going to fall off the cliff," they're blah blah blah, they're right in some cases. They are. I mean, there are homes that are tremendously overpriced. And in order to sell them, they're going to have to drop their price. However, long term, if you look, and you've heard me say it off the air, it almost makes me ill. Homes that I used to sell for 120 are now $250,000 homes.
Incredible.
Now, again, I've been a lot of gray hair, a lot of fallen out hair that's really, over this time period. But when I started, we were selling, you could buy a starter home in Warsaw was $80,000-$90,000.
Yeah.
Now a starter home in Warsaw is $180,000 to $200,000. So those 120s are now 240s, 250s. So over time, real estate is still a very good, place to put money, to build equity, to build wealth.
It's one of the best investments that you could possibly do.
Absolutely, over time. So, this show talking about forecast and home pricing is important. It is still critical that you price your home correctly to the market, not 21 prices, closer to today's prices.
And but that's why I say you should use an agent, because a lot of people will try to do a FSBO, and the problem with doing that is that they're just making up a number that they feel that the property should go for. Is the data that they're using as good as like one that an agent can find from the MLS?
Well, and we've got a process to come up with the prices, and hopefully we get it right, and if we don't, we have to adjust. That's all there is to it. And after the break, we'll talk a little bit more about inventory, pricing, affordability, all the buzzwords.
All right. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll be right back. And you're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody here with Mark Skibowski, and we're just talking about the seasonality and everything that's going on in the market right now. And the experts are saying that there will be a price increase for next year. They're thinking about a 1.5% increase.
Yeah, that on average, that's what the number is. Now, again, it's local, and throughout the year, next year, we'll be reporting on that. Later we get through all of November closed out. Sometime in December, we'll do a stat show.
Yeah.
We'll talk about where we're at through the end of November, and we'll see how we compare locally. I think if I remember correctly, the last time we were 3.5% as far as price appreciation this year in the local area. We'll firm that up when we get into December. We can close November out. But the big thing is inventory. Inventory. When I say buzzword, it's a real deal.
Yeah.
The fact that there is such a tremendous shortage of inventory is impacting these prices. Right, the propping up prices and keeping prices where they are. With interest rates doing the fluctuation, how as much as they went up, to 8%, people were pulling back out of the market. This, that, and the other thing. I saw a good faith estimate come across the other day at 6 3/8. So we're seeing interest rates are still fluctuating, and the Fed hasn't dropped rates yet. And the thought is they're not going to raise rates again. They're going to at their next meeting. They may hold, they may drop. Now, that doesn't instantly transfer to mortgage rates, but the fact is people are getting used to the new normal. Interest rates aren't going to be the 3% that we had for so many years.
Oh, man, yeah.
Right? It was a long time. That was a golden era, right?
Money was cheap.
Money was cheap, and that time frame is gone. But, as we've talked about, I think we're going to settle in the 6 to 7%. I don't think we're going to see 4.5%. I don't think we're going to see 5%. I think we're going to settle in the 6 to 7%. So that doesn't mean I should wait. If they're at 7 3/8 right now, that I should wait to buy till they go to 6.5. Because what did we just talk about it, during the show, is those homes that were 120 are now 240. Prices still continue to rise.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because there is a shortage of inventory. It's standard supply demand. There is still strong demand, limited supply. What happens? Price goes up.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the only thing I remember out of any economics class I took, and I've taken a lot of them.
Yeah.
But that is the only thing.
That's economics 101 right there.
That's right. I think that's all I remember. My economics professors, in micro, advanced micro, and advanced macro might go, Mark, I can't believe you don't remember anything. That's what I remember.
Right. It all goes back to that.
It's practical.
Right.
It's practical. It makes sense to me. So the good news is that through month over month in Indiana, inventories went up about 10%.
Oh, wow.
So month to month.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see more homes come on the market. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about that on the show. Hey, there was a time when we were saying there were 35 listings available.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then we were in the 60s.
Right.
Every day I see new listings come on. Now, I have to tell you, due to seasonality, there is not a lot of activity. There is not a lot of activity going on right now.
Well, like you said, like during this time, there's not tire kickers out there.
Right.
I mean, if they know their why.
Right.
If they're going to buy, they're going to buy.
Right. Right.
If they're seriously looking, but you just don't have as many people that are looking because of, like you said, the holidays are here.
Correct. And we run into that every winter.
Oh,
Just, the sine curve, how people go. What I tell sellers, well, should I list in December or January? Well, we have more serious buyers at that time because people are traipsing around to go look. They're doing it for a reason. They're not, they've got a lot of other things on their plate. They are serious buyers at that time to come out and look at that time. I've got a friend of mine relocating, for work, and they called me and said, hey, should we put the house on the market or not? And I said, look, things are awful slow right now. It is. There are not a lot of folks out looking. However, in price ranges, things will hit the market, multiple offers and pended right away. They just don't happen to be in that price range. I mean, you get above that $350,000, $400,000 price range, there's a lot fewer buyers looking right now. Yeah. There's just not, there's not the numbers of people. Mm-hmm. So, but, it only takes one. It just takes the one person.
Right.
So, when somebody, I should wait until there's more lookers. Well, what's your why? Why are you trying to move?
Yeah.
In this person's situation, they don't have to sell this in order to do what they're going to do. If they can hold on, gives them a chance to do some updates, fix the house up to where when they come out on the market, they're ready to go. In the spring, that was my advice to them. That's what I'm telling my friends. Same thing I'm talking about here. If you need to sell, sell.
Yeah.
It's never a terrible time. There are better times.
Yeah.
But the fact is, inventory is beginning to increase, but there is such a shortage of homes on the market that sellers, it's, again, like I just said, it's not a bad time to do it.
Yeah.
Just there could be a more optimal time to get more people into your property.
Mm-hmm.
So, inventory, affordability, those interest rates are going to impact us. They truly are. What happens with interest rates are going to impact the market, but overall, home prices are not dropping off the cliff. They're going to stabilize. We're getting back to a more normal market.
And so those guys, the Fed, they meet monthly?
Meet monthly. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay. If you have specific questions for Mark, make sure you reach out to him. Your contact info?
Sure. Cell phones, 574-527-0660. Website, skibowskiteam.com. You can check us out on YouTube. I'll have this up and posted, and we'll see what we think. See if my gray hair has overridden the light of the room. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's two skis with a bow in the middle.
Two skis with a bow in the middle.
All right, you've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful holiday weekend.